everybody. Yeah, welcome to another episode of I'm reviewing here. Oh, that was good. That was good. I should sing more often on this podcast. That's a great song. What was the band? 98 Degrees? Yeah, they sang that song. I'm totally right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here, a podcast where I, Matthew Bussy, watch and review science sounds top greatest movies of all time. I am jittery right now, and I haven't even had my tea yet, and I'm an idiot because I always seem to think that making a cup of tea, right before I start to record an episode is a good idea when it's not a good idea because I forget that I do this alone, so I don't have time to take sips of my tea because there's nobody else talking here except for my, the ghosts sitting across from me. I see ghosts. I do see dead people. I haven't really told you all about that yet, but because I'm waiting for another podcast. But, I mean, I don't see ghosts. I see ghosts in movies. Yeah. I do like this mug, though. If this was a video podcast, if that was an option, I could show you my mug. It's Michael Myers on the mug, and I got this in Palm Springs. And I started thinking, if Michael Myers had a favorite song, what do you think his favorite song would be? Personally, I think it would be Viva Forever by Spice Girls, because I think Michael Myers does have a very deep emotional side to him that he's too afraid to show. He can't really express it. So, I don't know. And I'm being totally serious here. I think Viva Forever. Chucky, on the other hand, like if Chucky's favorite song is probably like a heavy metal song. I can't say Marilyn Manson because he's apparently a real piece of shit. So I can't really talk about him. But, somebody in that genre. Oh, I shouldn't have said that because now I don't want you to think that I'm combining Marilyn Manson with every single heavy metal because no, they're not all like Marilyn Manson. But what am I talking about? This movie today, it does have killers in it. Marilyn Manson's not a killer. Oh my God, why do I keep talking Marilyn Manson? I'm so sorry. Okay, this movie has killers in it. That's a leap, I know. This movie has killers in it. This is a very, very, if not the most famous spaghetti western. What is a spaghetti western? Frankie, what is with the shaking? Sweetie, I'm doing a podcast. I'm recording. What do we talk about? No. I just took her to the park, so I thought she'd be pooped, but she's still like, okay. What is a spaghetti western? Well, let me first tell you what the movie is, and then I will better explain it to you, and you'll better understand what I'm better explaining to you. Better is good. The movie I'm going to talk about today is so cool. It is called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly. The blue, the gray. The Civil War. The showdown. The reason. The goal.
Take a tip of my sip of my tea. Hold on. I have a stomach ache. You know, I think I'm like chip intolerant. You know how people are lactose intolerant? I'm chip intolerant. I cannot eat potato chips without having a stomach ache about 5 minutes later. Oh, anyway. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Oh my goodness. Oh me, oh my. This is a very long movie. It came out in 1966. It is an Italian-made movie, but it's entirely in English. It was directed by this very, well, I keep saying very famous, this very well-known director named Sergio Leone. Sergio Leone is most famous for this movie, and he did another movie called Once Upon a Time in America that's even longer than this movie. This movie is like almost 3 hours long. And that movie is also very brutal, and it came out in the 80s, and that's coming up, and I have a lot to say about that. And you know, whenever I say I have a lot to say about that, it's not a good thing. So, anyway, the Italian name of this movie is Il Buono, Il Brutto, Il Cattivo. And wow, holy shitballs. So this is a spaghetti western. What is this spaghetti western? Oh, well, I say holy shitballs because I loved it. I absolutely adored, loved this movie. Adore is not really the right word, but this is just a badass, over-the-top, stylized, western action thriller. Badass. It has one of the best scores of any movie I've ever seen in my life, and that you will ever see in your life. You probably recognize from the trailer that you've always, at one point in your life, you've heard, yeah. You probably heard that, and it's all from this movie, thanks to I almost just said thanks to the scorer, not the scorer, the composer, Ennio Morricone, who was Italian and also did the score for a few Tarantino films. Tarantino also, you can see a lot of Tarantino in this film. You can see a lot of Sergio Leone in Tarantino movies. Jesus Christ. And yeah, this is obviously huge, because if you watch a Tarantino movie like Django Unchained or Inglourious Basterds, it's very similar to this. Over the top, I think, is the best word to describe this movie. This is a movie that you can expect to see like late night, you know, at a movie theater that's like in a bad part of town, but you go inside and it's really cool and sexy and awesome, and the popcorn is like 50 cents, but so good, and you can like sneak beer in, and everybody's like, you know, hollering and woo, you know, during the movie. I actually don't like experiences like that, because I don't like when people are loud during movies. I literally, let's not get into that. I don't want to get mad. Yeah, but this is, you know, the perfect example of that kind of film. Spaghetti Western. What is a spaghetti Western? Okay, a spaghetti Western is a genre of film where these European directors made Western films. The end. Literally, that's it. Why is it called spaghetti? Well, because there was this guy who coined this genre that because Italians love spaghetti, and a lot of Italians made Western films. Yeah. I like it. There are other names for spaghetti westerns that I did find that are quite funny. And I have them here. Oh, yeah. I mean, they're also known as Italian westerns. I don't like that. They're also known as macaroni westerns in Japan. I don't really get macaroni. I guess macaroni, you eat that if you're, a cowboy, I guess. Yeah. I thought that there were more, but there weren't. Yeah, but I just love to say it. Spaghetti Western. I also just love spaghetti so much. I almost wanted to eat spaghetti during this episode, but that would be really stupid because nobody eats spaghetti in this movie. And no. I like to eat my leftovers for dinner only. Not for this podcast. I do apologize, though. Also, spaghetti, I love it. It's sexy, but it is a pain in the butt to eat, and I spill it on my shirt every goddamn time. So that's what a spaghetti western is. I am going to talk about the movie soon, but the other thing that you need to know is that this is basically part 3 of a trilogy that Leone did. He called it the Dollars Trilogy. So there was A Fistful of Dollars, then there was For a Few Dollars More, and then there's this, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And Clint Eastwood was in all 3. This movie also basically launched... I mean, the other movies did too, for A Fistful of Dollars and the sequel, but this movie in particular, though, really, skyrocketed Clint Eastwood into fame. This is the movie that really made Clint Eastwood famous, and he's such a baby in this! He's like 35! Yeah, the Clint Eastwood snarl, that he does when he's like, give me your money or I'm gonna shoot you. Like that is all from this movie. He is so badass in this movie. Oh my god, yeah, I'm all over the place. I love this movie. I love it, I love it, I love it. What is it about?
Plot synopsis.
Once upon a time, in the West, in 1862 in particular, in the American Southwest during the Civil War. The Civil War was a very famous war between, let's not get into that. 3 bounty hunters ambush Mexican bandit Tuco Ramirez, who shoots them all and escapes. Tuco Ramirez, his real name is Tuco Benedicto Pacifico Juan Maria Ramirez, also known as the Rat, according to another character in the film, who I will get into in a sec. And he is played by Eli Wallach. Eli Wallach, oh my god, R.I.P. He lived to be 98 years old. One of the most adorable little actors ever. And I act like I know him really well. I really don't. He was in The Ghostwriter. The Ghostwriter was this movie with that Roman Polanski did before he got canceled. And I guess he's also, I mean, if you're a millennial like me, you may remember him from The Holiday. He plays the adorable little old guy in The Holiday that Kate Winslet, becomes friends with. I actually hate that movie. Please don't unfollow me. I'm not a fan of The Holiday. It really drives me crazy. It's just too... Oh. Sorry, I hit the table. Too overacted. Anyway, Eli Wallach, he's Tuco. Tuco just killed some guys. Tuco was supposed to be Mexican too, but Eli Wallach was not Mexican, but I'll get to that in a few minutes, probably. Elsewhere, mercenary Angel Eyes interrogates former Confederate soldier Stevens for the alias of Jackson, a soldier who stole a cache of Confederate gold. Angel Eyes is played by this actor named Lee Van Cleef, who also was pretty prolific in other Western films. Oh my god, I forgot to say too. Tuco is considered the ugly in this film. And no, oh my god, no, I got that wrong. Jesus, I just watched this. Wait, hold on. Tuco is the bad. No, he's not. Tuco is the ugly. Yes, he's the ugly. Angel Eyes is the bad. Just remember that, okay? Angel Eyes is pretty much the villain in this film, okay? He's the meanie, okay? I'm really sorry. Okay. It's the T. It's Michael. I'm sorry. Okay. So Angel Eyes is interrogating this guy named Stevens about this gold. Stevens gives the name Bill Carson, offers Angel Eyes a bribe, and then draws his pistol, but Angel Eyes kills him and, intrigued about the gold, kills his own employer. So he's like a monster. Angel Eyes is a nasty SOB. Tuco is rescued from more bounty hunters by an unnamed drifter whom he nicknames Blondie. Blondie is played by Clint Eastwood. Blondie delivers Tuco to a sheriff and collects his $2,000 bounty. As Tuco is about to be hanged, so cool. Blondie severs the noose by shooting it and sets him free. And Blondie also shoots the hats off the other bounty hunters. So he doesn't kill them. It's just pew pew, and their hats just go whoop, It's so cool. The two escape and split the bounty. They repeat the process in other towns until Blondie grows weary of Tuco's complaints and strands him in the desert. This is a really unexpected moment. Because... So, okay, we soon know that they're kind of working together, and they're both, so Blondie is basically bringing Tuco into other bounty hunters to get money, but then each time Tuco is about to be hanged from a distance, Blondie shoots the noose and frees him, and then they just go to the next town. So they're con artists, essentially. Tuco is extremely annoying, whines, is so loud, is always like, just, is so whiny. I don't know any other word but whiny. And, in this scene, Blondie just gets so tired of him that he just leaves him in the desert and goes off on his horse. So it's important. That really kind of shows the twisted relationship that these guys have. It's like they're not friends. They both hate each other, but you'll see that they keep coming back together. So, yeah, and Blondie is the good. So Blondie, you see, those three characters, Blondie, Tuco, and Angel Eyes, remember them. So bent on revenge, and after one failed attempt with his gang, Tuco catches up with Blondie and force marches him across the desert until he collapses from dehydration. So Blondie, Tuco, immediately gets revenge on Blondie. It's not funny, I don't know why I laughed. A runaway ambulance arrives with several dead Confederate soldiers and a near-death Bill Carson, who asks Tuco for help, offering $200,000 in gold, buried in a grave in Sad Hill Cemetery, which is a real cemetery. It's now a tourism attraction. When Tuco returns with water, Carson, however, has died. However, before dying, he revealed the name on the grave to Blondie. The two reluctantly set aside their grudge and work together, since Tuco only knows the name of the cemetery while Blondie knows which grave to dig. So again, they kind of get back and are like, well, Tuco is like, yeah, sorry, man, I almost killed you, but, we both want this gold, so peace, shake, that they do that, and they are, okay with each other again. Posing as a Confederate soldier, Tuco takes Blondie to a nearby mission to recover. There, Tuco reunites with his brother, Pablo, who left his family to become a priest when Tuco was a child. Their meeting does not go well, and Tuco angrily leaves with Blondie. And it's kind of a random scene. They slap each other, and it's so over the top. Any slap in this movie is like... It's like a whip. It's like somebody getting whipped. That is the sound effect. It's so blatantly... over the top. On the way, Tuco yells pro-Confederate statements to an approaching group of soldiers who turn out to be a Union patrol. So funny, because they think that they're Confederate soldiers because they're covered in dust. So, the Confederate uniforms were gray. But then the Confederates just wipe off this dirt, off their uniforms, and it shows that, they're blue underneath it. And the music just goes, again. The two are then taken to a prison camp that Angel Eyes has infiltrated as a Union sergeant in his search for Bill Carson. Having posed as Carson, Tuco is taken away for questioning. Under torture, he reveals the name of the cemetery and is sent away to be hanged. Again. Knowing Blondie would not reveal the name on the grave, Angel Eyes recruits him into his search. Tuco escapes hanging by killing a henchman working for Angel Eyes, then goes to an evacuated town where Blondie, Angel Eyes, and his gang have arrived. He doesn't just kill him. Tuco and this guy are chained together by, handcuffed together, that is. Tuco jumps off a moving train, puts this guy on the tracks, and, so the handcuffs are on the track, and then the train comes and basically squashes the guy and breaks the handcuffs. Yeah. It's not bloody, though, and you can tell it's just what did they use? Mannequins. Yeah. Blondie finds Tuco, and together they kill the gang, but Angel Eyes escapes. En route to the cemetery with the gold, the duo find themselves in a skirmish between the Union and the Confederacy over a strategic bridge. This scene is phenomenal. Blondie decides to destroy the bridge, disperse the armies, and clear their path. As they wire the bridge with explosives, Tuco suggests, I hate that word, they share the location of the grave in case either is killed. Tuco reveals the name of the cemetery is Sad Hill, while Blondie says Arch Stanton is the name on the grave. So they're making some progress here, yeah. If I'm stuttering more, guys, that means that the tea's kicking in. After the bridge is demolished, Tuco steals a horse and rides to Sad Hill to claim the gold for himself. Blondie catches up to him as he digs up the grave, but both are surprised by Angel Eyes as Tuco finishes digging up the grave. When it is revealed the grave contains no gold, Blonde admits lying about the name. Blondie is a sneaky little son of a bitch. He then places a rock in the middle of the cemetery's pavement on which he says the true name is written. The other two men understand they must kill or be killed to find out the name on the stone and step slowly away from each other. The men stand around the pavement in a Mexican standoff, waiting for one of them to draw his pistol. The coolest sequence ever. Oh my god, I was sweating my head off. Angel Eyes draws first and Blondie kills him. Tuco discovers his gun is unloaded. Blondie reveals he had previously unloaded Tuco's pistol and the gold is in the grave marked unknown beside Stanton's. Tuco digs up the grave and is elated to find large bags of gold. However, Blondie orders him at gunpoint into a hangman's noose beneath a tree. With his hands bound, Tuco was forced to stand atop an unsteady grave marker while Blondie takes his half of the gold and rides away. As Tuco screams for mercy, Blondie severs the rope with a rifle shot, dropping Tuco face first onto the gold. Tuco furiously curses Blondie, who disappears over the horizon. The epic end. Woof. I have chills up and down my body. Just listening to that, I have chills up and down my body. And it has to be the movie because I'm drinking hot tea, so why would I have chills? It's not iced tea. Okay. Oh, that was so stupid. Damn, this movie. Look, I was excited to see this movie finally. I have two regrets. I wish I did not watch it on TV. I watched it on Max. I don't know if it's still on Max, because Max, it's also not Max. Who the hell changed it to Max? It's HBO. It's Habo, okay? It's so stupid. I hate change so much. This movie, though, it is... Wait, why did I say I had two regrets? Oh, one regret, yes, seeing it on my computer, which I just wish I had seen it on the big screen way back in 1966. If I could time travel, I would go and see this movie in a crowded theater and yell and cheer and probably be drunk, because it is kind of fun to be drunk and go to a movie like this. But I can't time travel, of course, and I also wish that I wasn't so hesitant to see this movie at the same time, because I saw how long it was, and also I don't like Westerns. That's why I was a little bit like, well, I gotta see this movie. I've never seen it. I mean, it's like, I love Quentin Tarantino, so, it'll be very much like a Quentin Tarantino movie, but 3 freaking hours. I never wanted it to end. This movie could be 6 hours long and I would probably still love it. It is just so freaking cool. This is a movie, everybody who loves movies, at least, this in the same capacity that I do, you watch a movie like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and it makes you want to grab your own camera and go and make these super badass action films with over-the-top dialogue and over-the-top performances and over-the-top violence and over-the-top sound effects and everything. It's that movie that is just... It's so inspiring, It's not just a silly little spaghetti western, It really is an inspiring movie for so many people out there who want to make movies. It's like, yeah, it is. I say that too because the story in this is also just really good. I didn't say this. So Sergio Leone and this guy named Luciano Vincenzoni penned the story for this film, and then they also wrote the screenplay with these two screenwriters named Agenori Incroci and Furio Scarpelli, but they went by Age and Scarpelli. I like that. I was a little bit confused at times, but I also understood that, by the story that is, but I also understood that in general, this is a movie about, guys trying to find gold, and what really works so incredibly well in this film, I think, is the relationship between Blondie and Tuco, because they're so different. And I think just in general too, and also, what's his name? Angel Eyes too. The three of them, in comparing the three of them, they really are good, bad, and ugly. Angel Eyes is just a bad guy. I mean, there's a really gross scene where I think she's meant to be a hooker. I forget, but he's looking for this Tuco guy, and he thinks she knows where she is, and he just starts slapping the shit out of her, and it's really awful. So he's bad. That Tuco probably isn't a bad guy, but he is an ugly guy. Not physically. Well, makeup is a little over the top in this film, but no, Eli Wallach was a handsome guy, but his behavior is just ugly. Now, is he a bad guy though? I don't really think so. I mean, look, they're all killers, so they're all bad in some sense. Blondie though, I think is the most complex character because he is a killer in this film, but he's also not necessarily like a good guy. I mean, I think, well, you see, I take that back. He is a good guy, but he's not. He is, but he's not. He's a good guy, except he kills people. But, he's that type of guy, though. He's almost like a machine. He kind of just does what he is told, but he also does have a heart. He's not sadistic. I think that's the big thing I don't know why I didn't just say that. Blondie's not a sadistic guy. And his relationship with Tuco is so interesting because I kept expecting him to finally just kill Tuco to shut him up, but he never does. He always is offering redemption for this man. And even with Angel Eyes at the end, he doesn't kill him in a very, very vicious way. He literally is just like, well, all right, we're doing a Mexican standoff, so I'm just going to do my job now. Interesting. Very, very interesting characters in this film. And yeah, I mean, Eastwood is the best. I mean, I love Clint Eastwood. Look, some people feel like Clint Eastwood is an overrated actor. I admit that Eastwood is really only good for playing roles like this, aka roles where he snarls and growls and just goes all the time. So snarling and growling. He is really good at that, but oh my god, I'm not complaining though. I think he is the best when he does that. He's also a great director too. I wonder if any of his directed films are on this list. $1 Million Baby. Oh my god, one of my favorite movies. Yeah. I think that why did I love this movie? I loved it for the action scope of it all. I mean, that was just badass. The score was freaking phenomenal. And you know what? This very much is kind of like an opera in a way. The extreme close-ups, the really over-the-topness of it. Topness, is that a word? I'm making it up. Of it all, and I think also, like, I read one review that said that, and this is nothing against operas, but the reviewer basically says, when you see an opera, most times you don't really care that much about the characters. You're really just there for the epicness of it all. You're there for the epic of epicness, Is epicness a word? It's probably not. I really like to just make up words. Oh, it is a word. Is it a word? I guess it is a word. I don't know. Epic. And I think, again, a really complex character study at the same time. There is a really good story here. It is your usual story of gunslingers, bounty hunters, whatever you want to call them, out to get gold, which we've seen a lot. And in pirate movies too. That's kind of why I don't like pirate movies, because they're all the same. It's always pirates just going, "Oi, where's the gold, man?" And I can't stand it. But yeah, I divulge. I digress. That's what I meant to say. Okay, let's just get to some BTS secrets and scandals. BTS secrets and scandals! I feel so bad for Eli Wallach in this movie. So, before I get to Eli Wallach, though, this is kind of nasty, but Clint Eastwood wore the same poncho through all 3 Man with No Name movies. So, this one and the other 2, A Fistful of Dollars and the sequel, which I have not seen, without replacement or cleaning. So, that poncho he wears in this movie, he never washed it once. And I think to this day, I've read somewhere, I don't know if this is true, or confirmed, but I think to this day, Clint Eastwood still has not washed it. I mean, it's fine. If he's not wearing it, then it's fine. Yeah. I agree. So the casting of Eli Wallach as a Mexican has often been condemned as racist. It is unlikely that a white man would have been cast in a Hispanic role in the modern era. Yeah, I totally agree. This was acceptable at the time, however. This is really fucked up, because Wallach was Jewish and not considered properly, quote, not considered properly white, quote unquote, in the 1960s. And his dark skin and black hair allowed him to play a wide range of ethnic roles. That is messed up. Right from the start, I did not even know that was Eli Wallach. And this movie would not do well. Can you imagine people on X losing their shit over this? Yeah, BuzzFeed would become, the stories coming on BuzzFeed if this movie came out in 2024 and they discovered that Eli Wallach was playing Mexican. Yeah, not good. That is really messed up. But unfortunately, back in the 60s, back in the 20th century, you guys, that happened all the time. Oy vey. Eli Wallach, so this is why I say I feel bad. Well, I feel bad for that. But I also feel bad because Eli Wallach almost died, many times on this movie. He was almost poisoned on the set one day after drinking acid used to burn the bags filled with gold coin to make them rip open easier when struck with the spade. He didn't know the acid had been poured into a lemon soda bottle. He drank a lot of milk and filmed the scene with a mouthful of sores. The show must go on, I guess. And another scene, why did I just put that twice? Oh, I wrote the exact same thing twice. Oopsie. There is a scene here, yes. The scene where Blondie shoots Tuco down before he gets hung, in the shot, the gunshot scared the horse so much that it took off running at full speed for nearly a mile. Wallach's hands were tied behind his back, and he had to hang on for dear life with his knees. And I did not know this when I first watched it, of course, but I went back and rewatched it, and you can just see from the back when the horse is running away. Wallach is literally terrified. You can tell just by his body language. He's like, oh my God. Dude. Yeah. Wallach also, I think Wallach gave the best performance in this film, hands down. And I actually read that a lot of people kind of hoped that he had maybe gotten, Oscars or something like any kind of award for this film, but he actually didn't. According to Eli Wallach, when it came time to blow up the bridge, Sergio Leone asked the Spanish army captain in charge to trigger the fuse as a sign of gratitude for the army's collaboration. They agreed to blow up the bridge when Leone gave the signal, vai, go, I think that's what it means, Italian, over the walkie-talkie. Unfortunately, another crew member spoke on the same channel saying the words vai, meaning, it's okay, proceed, to a second crew member. The captain heard the signal, thought it was for him, and blew up the bridge. That is so annoying. Unfortunately, no cameras were running at the time. Extra annoying. Leone was so upset that he fired the crewman, who promptly fled from the set in his car. That's a shame. It was an accident, but still. The captain was so sorry for what happened that he proposed to Leone that the army would rebuild the bridge to blow it up again, with one condition, that the fired crewmen be rehired. Leone agreed, the crewman was forgiven, the bridge was rebuilt, and the scene was successfully shot. Damn! Yeah, I like that. Leone seemed like he was a good guy. Filming had a short delay when Clint Eastwood. This is interesting. When Clint Eastwood refused to turn up for work until writer and director Sergio Leone agreed to his $250,000 fee, in addition to a new Ferrari. Well, to be fair, I'm playing devil's advocate. This was Eastwood's third performance in this trilogy, that Leone was doing. This does not relate to the previous two films, but Eastwood was essentially the star. So maybe in his contract, he was supposed to get this. I don't know. Sadly, though, Clint Eastwood kind of didn't like this movie and has never liked it. He was not happy with the film. He later said it was bloated rather than expansive, and the only fleshed out character was Tuco. By the time filming had completed, Eastwood had become so tired of Leone's perfectionism and demands. The two never worked together again. Yeah, that's upsetting. In 1966, the Spanish army built Sad Hill Cemetery with over 5,000 graves at Mirandilla Valley in Burgos for the final sequence in this movie. When filming ended, the set was abandoned just like they built it. And for half a century, nature had been trying to reclaim it. Nature? Who wrote this? Then in October of 2015, a group of movie fans decided to start digging, and under 3 inches of ground, they found the original paved circle. For several months, people from all over Europe traveled to Sad Hill to unearth and restore the iconic movie set. That's pretty insane. And I think it's still there. It is like a movie set, essentially, a outdoor museum, I guess you could call it. There's a skeleton that Tuco finds in the round coffin in the cemetery at the end of the film. And guess what? It was a real human skeleton. There was a deceased Spanish actress who wrote in her will that she wanted to act even after her death. So I guess it counts. They used her skeleton. It's quite funny, I have to admit. The best moment. The standoff at the end, hands freaking down. Everybody, after this episode, if you made it this far, just go on YouTube and watch the standoff scene. Just watch it. You will shake your tail off. Why do people say that? We don't have tails. I've seen one movie where a character, well, that's probably not true. I've seen a movie where Jason Alexander from Seinfeld has a tail, a human tail, and it used to kind of give me nightmares. Shallow Hal, yeah, that movie also would not do well in 2024. Mais est-ce que je suis d'accord avec les critiques de ce film? So when this movie first came out, critics thought it was too silly. Because spaghetti westerns were not taken seriously. These were like late night, grindhouse-y kind of films. And so a lot of critics were like, well, this is a worthless, I want my time back. But of course, since then, the movie has gone on to become an iconic classic. Michael Wilmington of Chicago Tribune called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly an improbable masterpiece, a bizarre mixture of grandly operatic visuals, grim brutality, and sordid violence that keeps wrenching you from one extreme to the other. What does wrenching mean? I don't know, but I do agree. It is very operatic, and it is very grim, and it is very sordid, the violence. See, this is a violent movie, but it's not like bloody violent. It's just brutal. Yeah, a lot of gunshots. Peter Subchinsky of Critic Doctor said the movie demonstrates that a film can be exciting and funny and epic in scope while still retaining the peculiar vision of an artiste compelled to capture his obsessions with a technoscope lens. I love that quote because also I forgot to mention that this is also a very funny movie. Like there are a lot of funny moments involving Tuco and Blondie. Like when Blondie is in bed recovering after almost, dying from hydration in the desert, Tuco is like, sorry, man, can I, he's not from the Bahamas. He doesn't talk like, why did I do that? He's basically like, sorry, man, why did you, I didn't mean to almost kill you. Are we friends again? And Blondie is just like her. And then he just throws his coffee into Tuco's face. And it's very funny. Yeah. And there are other funny moments, and I did not explain that very well. Ty Burr of Boston Globe said the uncut new print reclaims the widescreen majesty of Tonino Deli Colli's cinematography, allowing you to see every iconic wart and furrow on every bad guy's face. Yeah, a lot of close-ups in this movie. Sergio Leone loves getting close up to these actors. I don't think I saw any warts, but I did see flies. Derek Malcolm of London Evening Standard said, the movie still looks like a treat and is a bold and largely successful attempt to recast the traditions of the genre in a new, sometimes critical, almost operatic way. Operatic, there's that word again. I was going to snap my fingers, but I messed up. Kyle Smith of National Review said, as in an opera, again, the characters are archetypes, not figures we particularly identify with, as in an opera. See, that's what I was saying about the opera. As in an opera, we waited a long time for the inevitable ghastly conclusion. As in an opera, Leone seeks and delivers a kind of ecstatic dread. Opera, opera, opera. The good, the bad, and the ugly, opera. Is it really one of the best movies of all time? Oh, yeah. 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 Oh my God, yes. I have not seen Leone's other spaghetti Western films, so I mean, I don't know how this compares, but I can just tell you that by itself, it's just a really cool movie. The production design, the music, the cinematography, the story, it's all perfect. It really is all perfect. And this Halloween, I really want to dress up as a gunslinger, but that would not go well because I live in a city. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in. I'm sorry I went a little longer today, but it's a long movie, so I got a lot to say. Please check out The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I will see you next time. In the meantime, get off your ass and go to the goddamn movies, okay? Do you have surgery the next morning? Well, then go early. How many times do I have to tell you to just go early, okay? Having a cloudy day? I mean, is the weather cloudy? Go to the movies. Well, I don't like to go early. Well, tough. What? You're never gonna go, so just go, okay? Just go. Just do it. Come on, go, 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 go. You got it, okay? Next time I see you, you're gonna be a horse, and I'm gonna lightly tap you, and you're gonna go skedaddling out the door. Horses don't skedaddle; they gallop. I'm sorry, that's what I meant to say. All right, I think I need to go eat some hummus now. Bye bye. Or what do they eat in the West? Macaroni, apparently. Yeah, okay, some macaroni. Bye-bye. Okay, I gotta stop. Wow, wow, wow.
Oh, you made it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of I'm Reviewing Here. New episodes drop Tuesdays and Fridays. You can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Feel free to follow me on Instagram at I'm Reviewing Here. You can also subscribe on YouTube. New episodes drop there the same day they drop on the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Please leave a review if you'd like. Be mean, be nice, hit on me. I don't really care. Candor really, really is important to me, and, it helps the podcast, too. So I really hope you enjoyed it. This podcast is brought to you especially by Nervous Chuckles. That is my fake production company, because I make people nervously chuckle all the time, because they never know if I'm telling a joke or not, so they're always like, do I laugh? Do I not laugh? Is he serious? Is he insane? Did he get out of the loony? What's going on? So if I made you nervously chuckle, then that means that I did my job, and thank you. There is no funding for this podcast, but if you want to give me money, then, hit me up. DM me. Bye-bye.